join?
I just unmute myself to say hi.
Right. Let's get started. Nikki, are you ready?
I am.
All right. I am going to share the screen then. Um, all right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back. Tonight, I'm so excited that we have Nikki from the IRS, and she's going to present on the IRS business tax account. Nikki,
Thank
you
you.
can take it from
Are you
here.
going to pull up the slides here for me first? Okay, so while Deborah's
Yes,
doing
I
that,
am doing that right now.
just wanted to welcome everybody. I am assuming that everybody is a business owner or works with business owners. And just by the sheer fact that you're here, I'm assuming that you're very successful at what you do because you're taken to a successful business person. I look up to Vera Wing. For those of you that haven't heard of her, she's a famous fashion designer. And one of her quotes, it's about what you learn along the way. So next slide. So if you are a business tax owner, or let's say somebody that the owner authorizes to access tax information or make payments for your business, you're going to want to learn about the IRS's new online business tax account option. Just came out this year. Parts of it are still rolling out, but hopefully this is going to make you better to interact with the IRS and enable you to get information from us faster. This is one of our latest improvements with online options, and this is going to allow you to get the help that you need when you need it. And right now we've got it rolled out in English and Spanish. And this improvement, it's just one of many as a result of something called the Inflation Reduction Act. You might have heard of it, that passed in August of 2022. The IRA funding or Inflation Reduction Act funding has made this enhancement possible. Next slide. So you hopefully, depending upon who you are and what access you have with the business, with business tax account, you're going to be able to see your tax balances, your payment history, and make federal tax deposits. Also, if you want to see whether you have filed your tax returns and paid taxes on time, or if you want to say, let's say show one of your employers or another federal agency or a bank, then you might be able to ask now for a tax check from us to show that you have met all of your tax obligations. And also, we're hoping now that you can go in and take a look at yourself and see how the IRS has your company name listed and your business address. And then most importantly, and download certain notices or transcripts for your business's payroll, income, and your excise taxes, if that's what you deal with. Next slide, please. And then you'll have to hit enter. There you go. And so who can use this? It's going to be sole proprietors who file under their employer identification number. That's what EIN stands for, as opposed to a social security number or ITIN, which stands for individual tax identification number. And that slide was right, Deborah. It looks like it was okay. And so you want to be able to, we're going to give you access to your business profile, your account balance and payments, and tax records, and a few other features. So I'll break that down for you. Business profile is kind of like what I mentioned earlier: business name, business address, your business information that we have on file. You'll also be able to store multiple bank accounts in your wallet. And then account balance and payments, you'll be able to view the balance dues. And then if you want, make partial and full balance due payments with the bank account. And then make federal tax deposit payments as well with a bank account that you store in your profile. And then if you use something called EFTPS, which stands for Electronic Federal Tax Payment System, you'll be able to take a look at your payment history through this as well. So that's everything that you'll be able to do as a sole proprietor with your account balance and payments. And then as far as your tax records, you'll be able to view your tax transcripts. You'll be able to request that tax compliance report or check that I mentioned earlier. Maybe if the banks want it, or your employer or another federal agency want that. And then also you'll be able to view a tax certificate for award use. Couple of other things that we wanted to add is the ability for you to view and download a few digital notices. One is a reminder letter that just says either we haven't received your return or that your credits might be on your account. Another one is an annual notification of your federal tax deposits that are required on, let's say, your payroll tax deposits. That's Form 941s or 941 SSs. Also, if you need an application for extension of time to file an employee plan return, we'll have digital notices that go out on that as well. So that's everything that's going to be offered to sole proprietorships. And that's a mouthful. Okay, so moving on to partnerships, the second thing that's down here. So partners are going to have limited access for partnerships. Individual partners, they're going to only have information available for tax years 2012 to 2023, and that's only if they received a Schedule K1 the year before. They're going to be able to view limited business information on file, not everything. And then as far as account balance and payments, they'll be able to view the balance dues, and they'll be able to make payments on balance due modules, and they'll be able to view payment history. We are working on designated officials being able to access information in partnerships, but we're not there yet. So, but that hopefully is coming soon. Now, as far as S corporations, and those are individuals who of an S corporation, they'll be able to access their business information based on their role in the company. So it depends on whether they are an individual shareholder or whether they're a designated official. If they're an individual shareholder, they're going to have limited access as within an S corporation. And so this would be an individual who has a social security number or an ITIN, which is an individual tax identification number, and a Schedule K-1 on file with the IRS from 2006 to 2023. Now, if they're a designated official for an S corporation, they'll have full access. So this would be an individual who is a corporate officer or managing member authorized to legally bind the business or entity and is a current employee who received a W-2 for the most recent tax filed year. By the way, we do not have, excuse me for a second, we do not have this completely rolled out. We want to roll out more. We do have like a focus group that we're going to be doing with S Corp individual shareholders. And if you know of anybody that would be interested in that focus group, I'm going to give you my email address at the end here, and feel free to pass my email address on to them and have them email me if they're interested. Don't have a date yet. All I know is we're going to have a focus group to try to get S Corp individuals to test out what we have developed before we roll it out to the public. All right, back to who can use this. Moving on to, let's go on to the next slide. And hit the enter button, there we go. C Corps. So designated officials are going to have full access, and that's going to be an individual who's a corporate officer or managing member authorized to legally bind the business or entity and is a current employee who received a W-2 for the most recent tax filed year. So good news for C Corp people. And then as far as single member limited liability companies, depending on how you elected to treat the SM LLC, and with the IRS, you have to treat it as either a partnership or I believe it's a corporation. Here it says shareholder. IRS is still working on that. We are planning to add the access roles in future releases, but we don't have that rolled out completely. Okay, moving on to the next one. Next slide. And go one more. Okay, so you might have heard of online account for individuals, and now I'm talking to you about business tax accounts. And you're thinking, wait a minute, what's the difference? Because I also heard online account for individuals is for businesses as well. So the difference is you're going to use your business tax account if you file business tax returns as a sole proprietor with an employer identification number. For example, I mentioned earlier, maybe like a Form 941 for employment taxes or a Form 2290 for highway use tax, as opposed to another online tool that we have called Online Account for Individuals. And this would be if you file your business information under your social security number or an ITIN, individual taxpayer identification number. So this would be things that fall on your Form 1040 for individual income taxes. So that's the difference between the two systems. Next slide. So how do we protect your information? And don't try to focus this. It's not you. It was me. It was a bad screenshot. I apologize. But because we care about your security, we make it a requirement that you be registered and go through ID Me first before you can access this system. And so if you haven't already, you'll have to create a profile on this, and then you'll be able to log on to a business account. Not only is this something that we want to do, it's something that we have to do. And then once you have been authenticated through ID Me, then we have to establish a relationship between you and the business tax account. And then we have to determine what information you are authorized to access. So moving on to the next slide. So this is our IRS parrot Polly. Both her and I want your comments and your suggestions on anything that you think IRS could improve upon, or if we're doing things right, we like to hear good stuff too. So Deborah, do we have any questions first?
All right, thank you so much, Nikki. Do we have any questions?
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward, I think, this presentation. So I'm not surprised on that.
I think there is a question.
You
Yeah.
didn't mention anything about LLC. I know you said SMLLC. Your difference? I know the other one.
So the
Or,
SMLLC is like the one that's treated as a sole proprietor as far as the IRS side of it, as opposed to the full corporation. So yeah, that's what SMLLC stands for. But yeah, if you're involved with an S corp, S corps is what we want feedback on as far as rolling out their business accounts to them. So, good question. Anybody else? Okay. Well, I don't know, Deborah, if you want to show my contact information again. I do have one last slide for those of you that are into superheroes. I know it's kind of hard to go back between presentation, the slide deck, and the. Apologize, Deborah.
Okay.
You're getting there.
This is the contact information. Can everyone see it?
So a lot of people don't want to ask me on these calls. That's understandable. But if you want to email me or call me, I am in Colorado. I'm an hour behind you. So, and then, oh, I missed my superhero. I gotta show them the superhero slide, Deborah.
Okay, let me do that again.
He's so Halloweenish.
Okay, here we go. My bad.
That's okay. I worked so hard on this copy and paste last night.
I know, right?
Okay, it's we're on the parrot right now. Let's move down to the slide 12 if you don't mind. There you go. Okay, so this actually came off of our what do they call it? X Now website, and then we also have Facebook. But most of the information that you can find from the IRS, you can do a search on our website and find it. So I'm just promoting irs.gov as well. And I thought this graphic was kind of cool for Halloween. So
I love it. I really
any
love
it for any of you football players. So
it. So this is on X.
this is on X. Yeah,
Wow.
this graphic. Yeah.
You guys have great
So
graphic designers.
thank you. So anyway, thank you all for coming today. I appreciate it. And I'll give it back to you, Deborah.
Yeah, so
Thank
thank you.
you.
You're welcome.
If we don't have any other question, I would like to also show where you can go on the IRS website to sign up for these tax workshops. So when you go to the IRS website, you can just type, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nikki. You can just type, is it business account? Nikki, are you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
The easiest way to get to this is to
Mhm.
on irs.gov. If you're is to just do a search for webinars.
Okay.
So on the search box, I'll just show them how to get to it. Type in webinars.
Okay, so let me go to the irs.gov right here.
Mhm.
And then once we're here, I can go to the search box and type webinar. Okay.
Mhm.
And then hit
And then
enter.
just search for that.
Okay.
Now we're going to go past webinars for practitioners, but
And
this second one that
webinar
you got,
for small businesses.
exactly.
Yeah. And then we'll have to select the state. Is that right?
You got it.
Okay, to select the state, that's where do I go to select the state?
Oh, did you go into the webinars for small
Oh,
business?
then small business for small
You're right.
tax workshops, and then
Yeah. And then go down to Nebraska.
state of Nebraska. Here we go. So for the state of Nebraska, currently, this is what we have, and it's only business sales. So today we talk about the IRS business tax account. Next month is going to be IRS document upload. You can either click on this or you can scroll down to the date. So next time it will be on December 10th, 6 to 7 p.m. And it's going to be on IRS document upload tool. You come here, it will take you right to business sales page where you can register. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. Directly from the IRS website, you can also register for this. Any questions before we go?
I did see a question. It said, what advice would you give an LLC owner?
Okay.
I would say it's worth it to sit down if you haven't already, and I suspect you probably already have, to talk to an attorney as far as, do you have everything set up with the IRS correctly? Do you have everything set up correctly with the state? And an attorney really is the person that's going to specialize the best in letting you know, did you pick the right entity, and then what else do you need to set up around it? I can tell you with the IRS, we do not recognize LLCs. We don't have a form that says LLC on it. So if you look we do have something that talks about it on irs.gov. In a nutshell, what it says is you either have to choose as being, I believe it's a corporation or one of the other entities that we have. But LLC is not something that you can choose with the IRS as far as tax treatment. So, Deborah, what would you suggest?
Yeah, so as an LLC, especially for the one member LLC, which I think everybody here is, except from Gino. So the IRS will treat you as a sole proprietor. So when you file your taxes, that's how you are treated, unless you ask the IRS to treat you as an S corp. And that's something that we'll talk about in um I think module 3. Module 3 we'll talk about that. I don't think anyone should really worry about that right now because they just incorporated their businesses into an LLC, and um, you guys are not at a point where um, you will start worrying about that. But module 3 will cover that, and that's something that Blaise, who is a tax professional, will really go deep into.
Another question.
Yes.
So I think I saw in a letter where it said you have to file tax. You have to file your taxes, otherwise you get penalized. So is there a certain limit, or since we're new, so I have a new LLC, therefore, do I have to file this year, or I have to reach a certain limit before I can do that? Or because I don't want to get penalized for something I'm not doing wrong on, but just want to make sure I'm doing it right.
You mean sales revenue,
So,
right? When you talk about the limits,
right.
the
Is,
sales, the revenue, the money that you're
is there
making.
a certain amount that you have to make in order you have to file? So I know we got what, December, you have to file before December, right? For businesses, I think they're different than your normal taxes. You have
It
to file a
depends
certain.
on, it depends on whether you're set up under a calendar year or if you just do the normal, you can choose if you want
Oh,
calendar year, if you want a fiscal year.
okay. What's the difference and benefit for doing it those way?
I couldn't tell you the benefits as far as either one, other than then end of the year, you're going to be doing your financial statements, your balance sheets, your your income statements.
Okay.
And a lot of accountants just want everything that the deadline's all at the same time.
Got it.
And so a lot of they might choose a calendar year just because of bookkeeping or reasons. It's just easier to have everything the same, not just your taxes, but all of your financial statements and your balance sheets and everything. But that's
Okay.
kind of a question
Yeah.
more for like I guess that would be like a tax attorney as well, or an attorney,
Yeah.
because you're not just looking at taxes, you're looking at a broader picture there.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be a good question for Blaise, he's a tax professional. Personally, I just do the calendar year. It's easier. So it's January 1st through December 31st. And that's my calendar year. And when I file my business taxes, I just do it the same time I do my personal tax. So it's easier. Some choose to do it in October, which is the if I'm not mistaken, the deadline for businesses, and for is it March or October?
Or
I don't recall. For
Um,
businesses. For individuals, it's
you can have
April.
extensions up to April 15th,
Yes. Okay.
but yeah,
So yeah, you can also file for extension, and we'll cover that in module 3.
okay.
Mm.
and
Good questions.
that's to file, that's not to pay. So you have to have a good idea as far as how much you owe still by April 15th and have that paid even though you haven't gotten your books records done. So
Mhm.
So it takes a little bit to understand because you got to estimate, be like, I made this much last year, so it's going to be close toward the end.
Mhm.
Okay.
And hopefully you made your estimated tax payments and stuff if you needed to, that first year. But I'd say it takes most small businesses kind of like a good 7 years to get up and running, at least 3 to get up and running
Before you doing
Mhm.
taxes.
before you're making a profit,
No.
to where you,
Before you
have
do
to-
your taxes, I'll
Yeah.
recommend if you just do your taxes, whether you make profit or not, just do it.
just do it.
Just
Yeah.
understand. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
All
Any
right. Any
questions?
other questions? Are we good? Well, thank you so much, Nikki, and thanks everybody for joining. And for those that are watching on YouTube, on social media, the next session will be on December 10th at 6 p.m. You can register by going to Business Sales website. You can go directly to the IRS website and follow us on social media on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We'll put the links there as well. And if you sign up to receive our newsletters, it will be in there as well. Invite others. This is a very important topic. And as we are nearing the end of the year, it's a good idea to really dive into taxes so that you can get ready for the next tax season. Until then,